wrote the song. Thoughts become action, tell me what's happening. What's your mind wrapped around?
This video is sponsored by Graphic Stock. Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I create this gritty style lettering, which I've been doing a lot of recently, and a lot of you have been requesting a tutorial for this, so here it is. But before I get into the tutorial, I'd like to show you a great website called Graphic Stock, which I'll be using later in the video. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Graphic Stock, it's a website with the largest unlimited download library of royalty-free stock images, vectors, illustrations and all kind of other graphics. A lot of these stock websites tend to charge you per image or graphic, and of course this isn't exactly cheap, so ultimately you end up paying quite a lot of money for particular graphics or images. With Graphic Stock, you can sign up to their annual plan for $99, which gives you full and unlimited access to over 300,000 images and graphics, and every membership also comes with a 100% royalty-free agreement. So anything you download from Graphic Stock can be used in personal or commercial projects without the risk of being sued. If you'd like to try Graphic Stock before committing to the annual plan, you can do so by clicking the link in the description, which also allows you to download up to 140 pieces of content during that time. Okay, so let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so for this tutorial you're going to need a brush pen and of course some paper, and the paper I've got here is, I'm not sure what it is, but it's quite smooth, and I'll put a link to everything that's here. I'll put a link to all this in the description. You can use a pencil if you want to do the initial shapes, but I'm just going to go straight in with this, and I'm not going to use guides either, because this style I tend to do it sort of freestyle, so it's just kind of, there's no baseline or X height, it's just everywhere. So the brush pens I've got here are the Zebra Fude brush pens, the fine and medium weight. And then I've got the Pentel sign pen, and then I've got the Sakura Pigma brush pen. So all these pens are the pens that I use to create this effect. So I'll just go through the pens and just quickly show you what sort of effect each pen gives you, and then I'll actually go through and create a piece. So we'll start off with the Zebra Fude fine brush pen. I'm just going to write the word clarity because it's a nice word and it looks pretty cool. So I'm just going to write this quickly, and the idea is to do it quite quickly, which gives you that sort of scratched, gritty sort of look. So I'm just going to write it really quick now, like this. And like I said before, there's not really a baseline, so you can just sort of freely put the letters wherever you like this. And that does look quite messy, but once you put it into Photoshop and edit it, it does look quite nice. So I'm just going to write it again with this. And just try different layouts with the letters each time. Just try different things. And that's this pen, and it's nearly running out, so that's why it looks quite scratchy, which is a good thing. And the next pen, I'm just going to go to the Zebra Fude medium brush pen, and this one's practically run out, so it might be hard to see on the video. But this is probably my favourite out of all of them. But unfortunately, it's nearly run out, so you'll see what I mean now. Alright, clarity again. Ooh, it's bad to see. There we go. And you can see that it's run out quite a lot, but it's the letterforms with this just seem to look much better than the other pens. And next it will go to the Pentel Touch sign pen. This one's a bit thinner, and this one's actually brand new, so it should be quite clear. But again, if you go quite fast, you do get that scratched look anyway, even if the pen's full of ink, with these pens anyway. So just write clarity again. Oop, bad to see again. That one looks quite nice. And what I'll often do as well, if I like a particular letter form from a certain piece, I'll put a star next to it so I know which one, for when I scan it in I know which one's which. So say I liked this C, I just put a little star above it so I know that that's the one that I'm going to use. And I'll just write it again with this, and I'll connect that this time. I'll connect it all, see how that looks. That's quite nice. And then the last pen is the Sakura Pigma brush, and this pen's quite running out as well, which isn't great, but this one gives probably the nicest effect, I think. It gives more of the brushed sort of look. So I'm going to do the final piece with this one, and again I'm just going to write clarity, and I do tend to write the word at least 100 times, if not more, every time, because obviously if you're doing it like pretty freestyle and rough like that, it's hard to actually get one that looks perfect all in one, so I tend to snip parts from different pieces and put them together in Photoshop. which you'll see later in the process. So again, I'm just going to write clarity with this pen, which is thicker as well. That was quite cool. And you can see it's quite a bit darker as well, so it works a bit better in Photoshop, this. I'll just keep writing it and keep writing it and keep writing it. And I might speed up the video at this point because I don't want to bore you with me just constantly writing the same word over and over. Okay, so once you've scanned in your lettering, you're going to come to Photoshop and create a new document. I'm going to create an A4 document with the resolution as 300 dpi because that's what I've scanned it in as. And once you've made that, just simply drag the images in, and in this case I've got two because I'm going to stitch two different pieces together because I've got particular parts that I didn't like and parts that I did like about each piece. So I'm just going to drag them both in. I'm just going to turn this. There we go. And apologies for the clicks as well and the button pressing. I'm not really great at editing those out, so bear with me with that. And just gonna put this one in. And sorry for the lag as well. My laptop likes to lag when I'm recording. Right. So what I'm gonna do is this one here, where it says clarity. I like Larity, but the C looks quite dodgy. So what I've done is I've put a little star above this one, and that's the C that I'm going to crop out and put on this piece. So just going to get the pen tool. I'm going to make sure it's right. It's this layer. I'm just going to make sure it's rasterized first so I can actually cut it. Get the pen tool. I'm just going to simply follow the stroke so it doesn't look unnatural when I stitch it to the other piece. And then I'm just simply going to just click round it like that. Oop, seal it. Right click and click on make selection. Press OK. And come to the selection tool over here. And then from there you're going to press Command J or Control J if you're on PC. And then I can turn this layer off because I don't need it anymore. And then once you've got that letter C, I'm just going to drag this to the top and then bring it down over this letter. And I think that looks better than the original, so yeah, you can see how it looked and how it now looks. I think I'm going to leave it like that. I think that looks quite nice. So what I'm going to do is merge these two together now. Over to the right click on them both, select them both, right click, merge layers. And then I'm going to get the selection tool. I'm just going to select the bit that I want, and then press Command J, again Control J if you're on PC. And I'm going to turn the layer off behind it because you don't need that anymore, which leaves you with just the writing. So what I'm going to do from here is to make the dark parts stand out a bit more. I'm just going to go to Image, Adjust, and Levels. And I'm going to bring the middle arrow thing, I'm going to bring that down to the right quite a bit. And then I'm going to bring the other one up to get the brightness up. Right, and then this is just guesswork really. You just do whatever looks best on yours, so because you might be using different coloured ink as well. So press OK. What you're going to do then is double click the layer and you'll get this box that pops up called layer style, and at the bottom it will say blend if, and this top bar here you want to grab the right arrow and bring that down a little bit, not too much, bring it down to like say about here. And then you're going to hold Alt and click and drag and it'll split in half, and you'll see on the type, you'll see like the grey parts start to slowly disappear. So this again is just depending on what your piece looks like. So I'm going to bring it down to say about here, so it's not got rid of too much of it, quite a bit of it's still there and it still looks quite scratchy. So I'm going to press OK, and then what you're going to do is create a new layer above it, select them both and merge them together. And then that leaves you with just the lettering and no background behind it. So now it's just simply the type, as you can see. You can see straight through the little gaps in it. So I'm just going to flip the background back on. And what you can do with the type from here is you can just go to effects at the bottom and go to color overlay. You can add a color, so let's say just add a blue for now. And what I like to do, because it tends to look better on a darker background, is click on the background layer at the bottom. Make sure your bottom colour over here, your background colour, sorry, is set to black or whichever colour you like. Could be dark grey. Actually, I'm going to go for a dark grey. And all you're going to do is Command backspace or Control backspace if you're on PC. And this will set the background colour to the colour of the secondary colour over here. So now if you zoom in, you can see that you've got this sort of gritty paintbrush effect. And what you can do is, if like you've probably seen it on mine, I have shadows on it as well. So I add these in on Photoshop. So I'm going to go to the top here, add a new layer. And I'm going to go on to press B to get the brush tool. And where it says opacity at the top here, I'm just going to flick this down to 15%. And then I'm going to press X on the keyboard, which switches your primary and secondary colours around. So now black, well the dark grey, is now my primary colour. And all I'm going to do is get the pen tool, and I'm going to look at where the strokes would sort of overlap, if that makes sense. So you can see here, it's sort of like, it's like say like a shoelace, like a flat shoelace, it sort of flips round on itself. So there would technically be a shadow around here. So what I'm going to do is just click here, and I'm just going to try and get it roughly right. That looks about right. And then I'm just going to click down. Don't want the shadow to be too big, so just click right on there. Right click and then click Make Selection. Press OK. Then press B to get back to the brush tool. And I'm going to right click, make sure the hardness is set down to 0. Bring the size up quite a bit if you like. And if you want to adjust it, without doing that, you can just use the square bracket keys on your keyboard. So about this size will do. And all you're going to do is just click and hold and just do a fairly big area if you want, or you could do a small one. And then I'm just going to do it again, but not go quite as far. And then I'm going to do it again. And again, don't go quite as far. And just each time, just don't bring it quite as far out, so you've got this sort of gradient shadow. And press Command D or Control D to deselect. And as you can see, you've got like a nice little shadow now. And of course, you don't have to do it 4 times, so you can do it twice, so it's not as dark. But if you want to get it dark, you can just simply duplicate this layer. I'm just going to go through and do the rest of the shadows through the type now, and it's quite a tedious process, so I'm not going to sit here and try and talk through it all. Okay, so once you've got your shadows finished, that's the type pretty much done. You can now go on to add in, say, a background or creating a gradient over the type. So I'll first throw a background on it, and like I said at the start, I'm going to go over to graphic stock, and I've already typed in nature here, and I'm just going to have a quick look around. As you can see, they're all really high definition images, and like I said, you can't get sued for using these. They're all royalty free. If you subscribe to them, obviously. And I'm just gonna find one that I think will look right for this. So, yeah, this one looks nice. Yeah. So the dimensions are quite large. It's 3053 by 2051 pixels at 300 dpi. So I'm just gonna download this one, and I'm just gonna throw that in under this. Where are you? There you are. I'm just going to drag this in. Okay, just paste it for now. Drag it to the bottom. And I'm just going to expand the image quite a bit. And I'll probably crop the document down anyway, because I can't imagine I'll be keeping an A4 document. It's a bit of an unusual size. Right, okay, so I'll just paste that in. I'm just going to crop the document down now using the selection tool. So I'm just going to select. Do it in a square actually. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. Bring that down. I'm just going to go Image, Crop, and that's crop the document. And what I'm going to do now with the background is I'm going to add a gradient map to it. So I'm going to first rasterize it down here, by right clicking and click rasterize. Then I'm going to come up to the top and press image, adjustments, and then I'm going to go down to gradient map. And I'm going to go for sort of like a fiery orange sort of colour. So the first one, let's go quite reddy orange. Let's go for that. And then the lighter colour, we'll go for the bit of a lighter orange. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that surprisingly looks better than I thought it would. That's quite nice. Let's go with that, I think. That's okay, that's okay. And you can do various different colours with this and whatever you like, but using 2 shades of the same colour tends to work quite nicely, so bear that in mind. And then the type obviously doesn't look great in blue on orange, it's like opposite colours, so let's change the blue. I'm just going to make it white for now. I think that'll look nice on the orange. And you'll notice that the shadows are now visible because the background's no longer a dark colour. So to fix that, what you're going to do is make sure you've got the shadows selected, so make sure you're on the right layer. Then what you're going to do is hold Command and click on the thumbnail of the type, so the type layer is below it here. I'm just going to hold Command or Control if you're on PC and just click the thumbnail, and that'll select that layer. Then what you're going to do is come to select, then press inverse, and then hit backspace, which will delete anything outside of that selected area. So and then you press Command D to deselect. So now you've got your shadows just within that area. And the last thing I'm going to do, I think I'm going to change the colour of the shadows, because it doesn't look quite right having dark grey shadows on this, because it's orange and yellow sort of colour. So I'm going to change the shadows to a colour that I think matches that a little better. So even like just red, you can see it sort of fits a little better than it did. So let's go for a dark orange sort of colour. Maybe like a brown. Oop, didn't mean to press that. Let's go for like a brown, I think. Or maybe a dark orange. Yeah, that looks alright. And then you can just, if you want to, right click it, rasterize layer style, and if you want to make it darker, you can just press Command or Control J, and that'll duplicate the shadow layer as well. So as you can see, it looks a bit better than having it just a grey colour. And now I'll do a version without an actual image in the background and just having a flat background and using like a gradient on the type instead. So I'll flick that background layer off, so now we're back to the black one, and I'll delete that, and I'm just going to put these shadows back to a grey colour to match the background, and yeah, put it about there. And what I'm going to do now is take the colour overlay off, double click it again, and I'm going to put on a gradient overlay. So you click on that, and then you're going to click on the gradient sort of tab over here, and then again I'm going to go for the fiery sort of orange colour. So let's go down to the bottom nearly and pick a same sort of orange. Try and get it as accurate as I can to the background of the last thing, the image that we had. And I think that looks nice. I think maybe bringing this down to maybe a bit more of a red. Yeah, that looks better. Press OK, bring that out, and as you can see, it's now like inverted kind of from what it was before. I don't know, I'm not sure which sort of style I like better, but this does look, I don't know, this does look really nice like this. So I tend to as you've probably seen from my work, I tend to stick to this sort of style with a plain background and then just having the type on it. I hope this tutorial's helped you. I know a lot of people have been requesting this after they've seen me sort of taking this up as a style that I do a lot, so I really do hope this has helped you. And if there's anything else you need to know about this, just ask me in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can and let you know. So thanks for watching, guys.